The rain was coming down hard that night, turning the streets into rivers of silver beneath the streetlights. Daniel Carter, a single father and former Navy SEAL, was driving home when he noticed a woman standing alone beside a closed bus stop. She was holding a tiny baby against her chest, crying as the rain soaked through her clothes. Daniel could have kept driving. He was tired, his 8-year-old daughter was waiting at home, and the storm was getting worse by the minute. But something inside him told him to stop. He pulled over, stepped into the rain, and walked toward the woman. Before we begin this emotional story, please subscribe to Kindness Story, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us bring more stories about kindness, courage, and hope. Daniel lowered his voice and said, "Ma'am, are you okay?" The woman looked up at him. Her face was pale, her eyes red from crying. "I'm a nurse," she whispered. "I know how to take care of everyone except myself." Daniel noticed the baby was shivering beneath the wet blanket. "Get in my car," he said gently. "You and the baby are going to get sick." She hesitated. "I don't have money," she said. Daniel shook his head. "I didn't ask for money." Those simple words made her cry even harder. Her name was Emily Brooks. She was 29 years old and worked at a local hospital. The baby in her arms was her 6-month-old daughter, Lily. Daniel opened the back door and helped Emily settle the baby inside. He turned the heater on and handed Emily a clean towel from the trunk. As they drove, Emily kept staring at the baby. "She hasn't eaten properly all day," she said quietly. Daniel immediately stopped at a 24-hour grocery store. He bought baby formula, diapers, warm clothes, and some food for Emily. When she saw the bags, she whispered, "You really don't have to do this." "I know," Daniel replied. "That's why it matters." Emily looked at him with tears in her eyes. For a few minutes, neither of them spoke. Then Daniel asked, "Where are you staying tonight?" Emily looked down. "I don't know." Daniel could hear the pain in her voice. She finally explained that she had been working extra shifts at the hospital because she was struggling financially. Her baby's father had disappeared before Lily was born. Emily had been paying rent, daycare, medical bills, and everything else by herself. But there was something she wasn't telling him. When Daniel reached a safe place where Emily could stay for the night, she suddenly said, "Please don't take me there." Daniel turned around. "Why?" Emily swallowed hard. "Because someone is looking for us." Daniel became serious. "Who?" Emily looked toward the sleeping baby. "My former supervisor." Daniel didn't say anything. Emily continued, "A few weeks ago, I discovered something at the hospital. Something I wasn't supposed to see." She explained that while working a late shift, she had noticed unusual changes in several patient records. Medication information had been altered after treatments were given. At first, she thought it was a computer error. But then she discovered a pattern. Someone inside the hospital had been changing medical records to hide dangerous mistakes. Emily reported what she found. After that, strange things began happening. Her car was damaged. Her apartment door was left unlocked. Someone started following her after work. Then one night, she received an anonymous message telling her to stop asking questions. Emily had become terrified. She took Lily and left her apartment, but she didn't know where to go. "I didn't know who I could trust," she whispered. Daniel listened carefully. He had spent years in the military learning how to stay calm when everyone else was afraid. But now he wasn't thinking like a soldier. He was thinking like a father. He looked at Lily sleeping peacefully in her mother's arms. "You did the right thing," he said. Emily shook her head. "I was scared." "Being scared doesn't mean you're weak," Daniel replied. "It means you kept going even when you were afraid." That sentence broke something inside Emily. She began crying again. Daniel contacted the appropriate authorities and helped Emily explain everything she knew. He also called a trusted friend who worked in hospital administration. By morning, Emily had temporary protection and a safe place to stay. But Daniel didn't simply disappear after helping her. He checked on Emily the next day. Then the day after that. He brought groceries. He brought diapers. Sometimes he brought his daughter, Sophie, who quickly became fascinated with baby Lily. One afternoon, Sophie handed Emily a small drawing. It showed 4 people holding hands beneath a giant yellow sun. Emily smiled. "Who are these people?" she asked. Sophie pointed. "That's my dad. That's me. That's you. And that's Lily." Emily laughed for the first time in weeks. Daniel watched from the kitchen doorway. He realized something that day. Kindness doesn't always require a huge sacrifice. Sometimes kindness is simply noticing someone who is hurting and refusing to walk away. Weeks passed. The investigation continued, and the people responsible for falsifying medical records were eventually identified. Emily's courage helped protect patients who might otherwise have been placed in danger. She returned to work, but this time she didn't feel alone. One evening, Daniel received a message from Emily. "Can you come outside?" He stepped onto the porch. Emily was standing there with Lily in her arms. She handed Daniel an envelope. Inside was a small photograph. It was a picture of Emily and Lily smiling. On the back, Emily had written, "You stopped when everyone else kept driving." Daniel looked at her. "You don't owe me anything." Emily smiled through tears. "I know. That's what makes it kindness." Daniel looked at Lily, who reached toward him with a tiny smile. For a moment, the former Navy SEAL who had faced danger in places far from home felt something more powerful than any victory he had ever known. He felt grateful. Grateful that on one rainy night, he had decided not to keep driving. Because sometimes the smallest decision can change someone's entire life. Daniel didn't save Emily because he expected something in return. He helped because she needed help. And Emily never forgot it. Years later, Lily would grow up knowing that one rainy night changed her family's future. She would also learn the lesson her mother never stopped teaching her. When you see someone struggling, don't always ask what they can give you. Ask what you can give them. A warm meal. A safe ride. A kind word. A few minutes of your time. Sometimes, that's all someone needs to believe that the world hasn't forgotten them. And sometimes, one small act of kindness can become the beginning of an entirely new life. So the next time you see someone standing alone in the rain, remember Daniel. You may not be able to solve all their problems. You may not be able to change the whole world. But you can stop. You can listen. You can help. Because kindness doesn't have to be perfect or expensive. It simply has to be real. And you never know how far one small act of kindness might travel.